Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another weekly reading review. Um, I'm sure most of you know me, but I'll still introduce myself. My name is Morade Olajubu, and I'll be your reviewer. And I have with me Adenike Abibat Abdulwahib. Right, she'll be the one giving us the gist about chapter 16 of this book. So we're currently reviewing section 4, chapter 16, which is weather the storm wisely and bravely. Okay. Um, I'll start with one quote that I saw along the line when I was trying to read the book. It's not in the book, but I'll just say it. It says that be the willow and not the oak. Bend with wisdom, stand again with bravery. We know that oak trees, right? They are not as stable as willows. Willows, they can shake, 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 and they will stand again, right? And oak tree, they can't withstand the storm. So they just break. So what I'm sure that Abiba would do justice by giving us the breakdown of how we should always stand, even when there are storms around us, right? And at the end of this session, at the end of the review, we would also call out to anybody that wants to add anything, right? So I don't know, Abiba, are you ready? At this point, I will just hand over the virtual line to a beautiful
Okay,
lady
good evening.
called Abiba. Abiba.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Thanks so much for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here. Okay, my name is Abiba Abdurrahid. I'm the 400 level student of Olabisi Onobanjo. So I'm actually glad to be here because I love reading a lot actually. So when I came across this group, I was like, I think this is going to be fun. At least giving people a review of what you have learned in a particular book. So I'll be giving the review of today's lesson by Femi Otedola, making it big, titled Weather the Storm Wisely and Bravely. So I feel when everybody hear this particular the topic of the section, the book, this particular chapter, what comes to our mind was I feel everybody what comes to our mind is the storm wisely and bravely because actually gone through a lot of difficulties in this. So the first part was when like he listed different points, but I will not be able to go down all to the points. The first thing he said was, no matter the situation you are facing, try to pinpoint where the source of the issue is. So this particular part let me know that Otadela was like he had a particular business where he was trying to run. So, but then at the long run, like he had issue with people giving him fuel and not giving him just because they thought he was a military person and the like, whereas it wasn't true. So, as a normal person, everybody would feel, we're probably buying, sorry. But what Otadela did was he actually sat down, looked for the source of the problem. Like he first identified the problem. Okay, felt okay. The issue I'm facing about this, my dad, I'm not even to collect crypto was the aspect whereby people told Obasanjo that he is a military person. And what made Obasanjo go to prison was because it was like lied or like it was lied upon and the like. So and Femi Otedola was also a friend to what they call it, friend Aziza. So that was where the issue come. What he did was he find the source, then what identify the problem and look for solutions to it. That was when he was able to take Aziz to Otedola, but whereas it work. But what Otedola did was it wasn't like, oh, for Ibrahim, it's not meant to be like this. But what he did was he was actually patient. Never was what? No, there will always be a way. He adapted to the situation he was facing. He was being patient. Like if he was being patient in the sense that he was being patient whereby he felt, oh, I can't do this thing again. But later, and the longer he felt, I have to just, they will actually be aware. Let me just be calm, keep praying, everything will surely goes the way it's going to go. Because in this life, there's no how we'll not face challenges. We'll surely face challenges. But each people's challenges can be different from one another. So everything cannot be the same. Everybody cannot be the same thing. So you have to be patient and remain hopeful. Another thing is, if you not allow a difficult situation convince you that there is no solution, it's a lie. Because people before you have passed through that stage, and people coming after you surely also pass through that stage. So you can actually just be patient, adapt, and pray, and be very, very prayerful. Another thing is, you should be ready to adapt to change. You should not feel, this is the way I do my things, that's the way I do my things, I cannot change. Because Otedola, when his issue, like his business wasn't going the way he wanted it, but what he did was, okay, he felt at this point he had to just start giving out his assets and like he has to start paying debts and the like. But if he wasn't able to adapt to change, he won't be able to do a lot of things. Another thing is, we should be careful when we're like looking for people to work with. Don't accumulate fraudster or saboteurs. That means we should be careful of people we are choosing to work with around. Like you should have competent people and honest people around you. You cannot just feel, oh, this person is my friend. This person cannot offend me and the like, because there is no how they will not offend you. Another thing is, do not surround yourself with people who praise you and agree with everything. No, don't do like that. Because when you surround yourself with people that actually are always praising you, you got to a point that even you'll be like, is this thing am I doing is actually right? Whereas you have to surround yourself with people that will tell you that, oh, what you did is not right, what you did is not wrong. And another thing, you should be ready to learn from your mistakes, not to say I'm above them, I cannot do this. Because a good person will surely tell you the truth. They'll be very blunt and they'll be honest with you. So, but when you have people that are not actually competent and they are not honest with you, that's a very, very big issue. Another thing is know when to let go, because Otedola faced, like, he had to make difficult decisions about his asset and business. His business wasn't going the way it has to go, and he had a lot of business and assets. But what he did was, okay, he felt I have to just like give out, let some of the or some of my business or assets go, because when you hold things too much, like when you're not able to let things go, it will be very, very hard. It will be very, very hard to you, because you feel, okay, you're already attached to this kind of person. Because when you feel too attached to people, by the time they will disappoint you, you'll be very, very hurt. Another thing is, we should take note of this, is letting go is not always failure. When you are letting go a lot of things does not mean you are a failure or you are not a good person. Because the thing is, when you are able to let go of things, like it is more or less like a wiser and a braver decision. More or less like, okay, at the particular point you are letting things go, let it go and the likes. But deep down when you check it, because Otedola, when he had to give up his asset and business and the likes, when you continue through the points he said, later let us know that he was still able to have more than what he had before. But if he had find it hard to let people go or let things go, it will be very hard for him to actually do it. And that thing is, even the darkest cloud has a silver lining. That's Edina I'm using. He said when he was facing difficult experience, like he had issue with managing people and leadership. That was part of what he faced. So they have said whatever the losses you are facing, or the setback, like it's either it leave you with two things, either knowledge or wisdom. Because you losing people, you are learning more. Like, okay, this person is actually living. Okay, you're able to learn one or two lessons from this particular person because you have worked with the person and you're able to know that, oh, this person had done something like this to me. Another thing is, don't waste a difficult experience. You don't have to do it. Just ask, what can I learn from this? You don't feel all knowledge is wasted. No knowledge is actually wasted. No matter the situation you find yourself, or you being a student you being a student, you're studying a particular course, you're studying mass comm, for instance, and they now said, okay, you have to learn how to go about AI. And the first thing I don't know it, I don't, you have to actually sit down, because you might feel you don't need it now, but in the nearest future, as the way things are actually going now in the society, technology is actually advancing and it's going a long way. So, like, you have to think of what you want to learn because not for now, but for the nearest future. And that thing is, hold your head high and keep your words. Keep your word. That means you don't have to feel above, like you don't have to feel below that. You know how to put yourself high. Okay, I'm the one. Like let people know you are there. Don't feel I cannot do it. Even if you know that you can actually do this. Be bold enough to say, oh, I can actually do this thing, or I have an idea of how this thing is going to go. Because when you keep lowering yourself, it will be very, very hard when you face difficult situations. And that thing is, integrity matters. Like when you are facing difficult situations, that's what you are meant to hold on with you, because you have to be very, very honest. You have to be very honest in whatever you are doing in life. So my takeaway on this is your circumstances shouldn't determine your character. Like don't let what you are going through should determine your character, because you might feel, I don't have money, oh. Or maybe you feel this particular thing that you want to do, or the company is going to do, is going to benefit you in a way that the company CEO or somebody is not going to be aware. Like you want to do it on your own. You don't have to allow that to determine your character, and keep your word and maintain your dignity. Let them know you for who you are. Don't don't be someone that changes. Oh, I'll do this. I promise I'll do it today. And today is about to end. You are yet to do it. You have to be very careful of the promise you make. Another thing is that I said was learn from your mistake. Like you have to learn from your mistake. You don't have to feel you're above this. Nobody is above mistake. That's the normal English word. Nobody's above mistake. So you don't feel I'm too I'm above this. I cannot make mistake. Somehow you make mistake, because Otedola was able to discuss his mistakes and difficulties situation. Like he was able to discuss it, and when he was able to discuss it with his people, like he was able to like find solution. That's why they said you have to have competent people and honest people around you. And another thing is, so sorry for that. Take things one step at a time and value exceptional people. What this is telling you is take one step at a time. You don't have to feel I can do everything. It's not possible for you to say, okay, I can do this, I can do this. You cannot do 10 things at a time, because actually you have just two hands. So you have to take one step at a time and be patient. And have exceptional people. That means you have to surround yourself with capable people that can actually do what you want to do and feel okay. I have a particular, I want to, as a student, like, oh, I want to be a first class student. I want to read this particular course. I have tests or exams tomorrow. What you can do is be, oh, or you're having a particular issue in a particular course. You have to just keep calm. Study the one that you're having issue with. Once you're able to identify it, then you cannot go to the one that, okay, I'm good in this aspect. Not you just saying, oh, it's not necessary. You have to focus on the next step after each, one step after another. And you don't have to do everything alone. You don't have to feel, I can do it. Only me can. I'm capable of doing everything. It's not possible. It's not possible for you to be capable of doing everything. You have to have people that can actually do it. The takeaway for this is progress doesn't always happen all at once. It's not possible for everything to expect that you'll be successful and the life at once. It's not possible, because everybody is going to have struggle. Everybody has their own struggle. So you cannot expect, oh, I'll just be rich on the particular day, or I'm starting my particular business and everything does go well. It's not possible. You have the good part, the good side whereby, okay, you're able to sell your product, customers are buying it, you're having good relationship and connection with people. And there are some days that you won't be able to even sell just a particular product, even the cheapest product, you might not be able to sell it. So don't feel that I will not sell a particular day does not mean you will not go to shop another day. So you just have to take like each step after another. So I don't know if there is. I think I'm done for now. Let me hand it over to the moderator. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you so much to our reviewer, Habiba, for breaking down how to weather the storm wisely and bravely, right? Okay. So while we wait for others to raise their hand or something, I'll just quickly highlight what I learned. Okay, so basically this book was actually telling us that Otedola did not break under pressure. He adapted, he learned from his mistakes, he unlearned, he relearned, and he actually picked himself and he made better judgments, right? And like there's a saying that if lives give you lemon, or make it lemonade, right? Me, I used to laugh about it, but I guess this is actually it, because it came from a good background, as in a rich background. His father, he learned from his father. However, he still made some mistakes that even led to bad debts. And he took the decision, right, that no, even though he mentioned in the book that banks were covering up for him because they didn't want AMCON to come after it, but he had to write to Sanusi, which was the CBN governor at that time, and he had to pay up his debt. He had to sell properties. Even he mentioned the late Wike in the book, how he had to come. He thought they were all friends, but he actually made us know that when life is dealing with you, that's when you actually know the true people that are really your friends, right? He actually told us that when his business was flourishing, all banks were at his nooks and crannies, everybody wanted to partner with him. But immediately the news got out that this is what he's going through. Instead of them to actually empathize with him, Access Bank did not. In fact, they said, my guy, you have to pay. And he was like, okay, what exactly do you want? And he gave them what he wanted. But the good part is that he actually had properties. What if he didn't have that? I guess that's for us to think about. Okay, so in life, right? Storm is inevitable, be it in business, in life, in your career, whatever. Even small, even like university, like Albert said, I know some people that were very good in secondary school, and when they got to year one, they dropped to like 2 points, and their goal is first class. It can still happen, right? So what they needed to do is just to exactly what he did. They are bright mind, but one thing led to another, they dropped, and they dusted themselves up, and they came back up. And I'm sure that that's what he is trying to advise all of us. Even though you might lost it all, you just have to start again, wherever, whenever. Just ensure that you are not a failure, and you pick yourself up and you get it through. All right. He also mentioned that do not panic, because there's always a way out. I know that when we're small, we're always saying, at the end of the tunnel, there is light, Abby. So there's always a silver lining for everyone. So far, we put in the work, we pick up ourselves, and we are who we say we are. He also told us that we should not make emotional decisions. When he was speaking is the people that were going to head this organization, he said, oh, this person is is a religious person. This person is a religious person. This person is good. He feels that because of he thought the person is a good Christian, so he'll be able to manage the company well, but it turned out not so good. So he actually advised us that we should not make emotional decisions. We should cut off whatever we need to, and he knows that we would actually make it, and that was what he did. He saw that people didn't have good characters. He monitored them. He made a rash decision the first time when he sacked the first guy, when he told him that if people are getting 2%, yeah, and he was asking for his own cut, so he had to. But the second person he caught, he had to like, okay, let's check who these people are, and he actually laid them off. Another thing is that courage is not negotiable. We have to be courageous in whatever we do, and that was exactly what he did here. He was courageous. He looked at his bad loan. He would have actually cut his loss early, but he made a bad decision when the fuel price crashed. He actually made the wrong decision as at then, but however, he still had assets that he could use to use to cut his losses, right? And he had like 3 properties left after everything. One thing he also mentioned is that we should use the storm to reposition ourselves. And like we know, the death of Zenon actually gave birth to Photoi, right? And he had to, what are the things I missed here? What are the things I do not want to see repeat in myself, right? We should not see storms that we failed. We should just see it as a reset for us to go back to our drawing board, for us to see how we can actually bring ourselves back and would actually be back stronger than how we were. He also mentioned about character. Your character will be tested no matter where you are, from childhood to teenage to adult, your character will be tested. How? Everybody blames government today, but I will still say it. All of us, we all have to hold ourselves accountable. We will blame government for bad road, we blame government for this. But if we look inward, are we resilient? Do we have integrity? Do we have empathy? These are the things that make our characters. And because of who he feels he is, he felt that, I have to be trusted. I have to work so that when anything happens tomorrow, I can beat my chest, right? Even when he knew, when people were bad-mouthing him to Obasanjo, he had to say, no, this is not who I am. This is not what exactly it is. He told his friend that let's go and beg Obasanjo. His friend said no, but they went. However, because Obasanjo had seen him and his friend, he felt, oh, they are together. But still, his character still tested, and even people along the way that fell off with him, but because they didn't have that integrity, right, they had to cut him off. And one thing he mentioned about the current GCFO of Guarantee Trust Bank, which is Segun Agbaje. Segun Agbaje has this strategic mindset that I always envy him. Even when other banks were going down, I can't remember the year. What saved Guarantee Trust Bank was their FX. Whenever they use their FX, they will go higher in their budget for the year. So they'll tell you that this is what we want to meet for this year. Even if dollar is like 1.4 now, they can say let's use 2,000, so that in case of anything, we are covered. And he has seen the kind of person Shegun is, and he sought advice from him. And Shegun was able to say, okay, you can use Julius, right? And he saw that when he interviewed him, he was actually impressed, right? And that was how he employed this person. Okay. Okay, I'll just pause for Kazim to go, then I'll round off. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oradio, for that review. And Abiba, thank you so much for your time as well. I just want to impress about two things. Number one is for us to know that for every problem, there are always way out for it. If you have not been able to figure out the way out for that challenge, perhaps you have not engaged the subject matter expert for every problem at all, every problem. If even sometimes people are overwhelmed, people will continue to lament, people will continue to complain, but we must have that mindset of for every problem I have, there is always a solution, and we should be busy with looking out for solution for those challenges. That is very critical. And we can see as Femi Otedola has shown that sometimes it might be loss of job, sometimes it can be failure in exam, sometimes can be loss of money in an investment. So a lot of things that we have, we should always know that these things are challenges. They are not going to be forever, and we can always find a way out for it. Second one I want to emphasize is that we need to understand people when we are in need and we are facing challenges. There are several people Some people will give us hope. Some people will give us hope plus support. Some people would dash our hope. But in all of this, you should remain focused and resilient in addressing the issues as against focusing on people's response. Oh, this person is my enemy. That place is not interested in me. Although they might exhibit some of those characteristics, but sometimes if you start getting distracted about those people and then you keep you are distracted from where you're actually going to, that might be a serious problem for us. Lastly, that I'll be talking about is that we need to always look inwards. We need to trust our instinct. We need to always see ourselves from the position of strength and not dwell so much about our vulnerabilities and weaknesses. A lot of us are very weak. We would continue to find ways to strengthen ourselves and make ourselves better. But in all of this, always appreciate your strength and grow your strength. Thank you so much. I'm already over to you.
Thank you so much, Kazim. Yeah, so Kazim has told us we should be solution oriented. Let's whatever we start, let's always have the end in mind. What's our end goal? What do we want to have at the end of this day? Once you have that, Kazim says it a lot. Once you have that, trust me, you are like 50% done, whatever you want to do. So I'll leave everyone with this. Please don't break under pressure. Learn to adapt, learn to unlearn whatever you've heard. Be willing to relearn, be willing to pick yourself or dust yourself out. And I'm sure that everyone would grow, right? Also, let's always be brave. Our people will always look at us. If we have good characters, meaning we're humble, we have integrity, we are resilient, trust me, you might not be so, but somebody somewhere is looking at you and might actually say, that person, you can actually use him for this particular position. Let's just keep being ourselves, have integrity, be resilient in all we do. And I'm sure one day, we'll actually get to our whatever we are dreaming of. All right. So thank you everyone for joining this evening session. I'm sure we picked one or two things from what we have said. Right. We'll continue to encourage everyone to read. Even if it's 10 minutes a day, please just try to read. Please do well to follow us on all our social media handles, our WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, right? And our YouTube. Please help us refer. You can go back there anytime. You can watch it in case you missed anything. Tell your friends, your family to join us. And see you same time next week. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Bye for now.